In this video, we're going to be having a look at the Home Assistant time of day sensor. Make sure you stick around, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button below and keep an eye out for more videos. Hi, I'm Will from Surridge Tech, and today we're going to be having a look at the time of day sensor in Home Assistant, and then we're going to make a sensor from it using a template. So let's get going. Now what this sensor is basically a sensor that tells you whether it's the morning, the evening, the afternoon, the night, or whatever else you want to categorize, I suppose. So you can have as many of these as you want, and each one will create a binary sensor that'll either be on or off. So if it's the morning and you have one set up for morning, the binary sensor for the morning will be on. And what we're going to do after that is create an overall sensor that takes those values and figures out what it actually is at that point. So we're going to head into our configuration file, as we like to do, and then we're going to create a binary sensor. And in this binary sensor, we're going to be using the platform TOD, time of day. Oh dear, can't write today. And then the name is morning. The after, so that's when it will start, we're going to put sunrise. But we're then going to edit that and have an after offset. And that is going to be minus 2 hours. That means the morning will be triggered 2 hours before sunrise, and then it's going to end, so it only happens before midday. Very simple. We're then going to need a few more of these. And we're going to have an afternoon. And that is going to happen between midday and 5 o'clock. We're going to have an evening, which will be between 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. And then we're going to have a night. And that is going to be between 10 o'clock and sunrise. So that means that night actually overlaps with morning, because obviously morning happens 2 hours before sunrise, but night is still happening at that point. So we need to take that into consideration later, but it means that technically at 2 hours before sunrise, between 2 hours before sunrise and sunrise, it'll be both morning and night, which could be confusing. So just take that into consideration. And you may want to edit that. You could always put a before offset with a minus 2 hours, and that means that the night will end as morning happens, which is 2 hours before sunrise. So that is that one. And then we're going to go into our sensors file, because I've split this off, and we're going to create a new template sensor. Where are my templates? Oh, a lot of templates. Okay, and in here, we're going to add a new one called time of day, surprisingly enough. The friendly name, of course, is also time of day. And then this is going to have a value template. And it's going to be a lot of if statements, basically. So where's that one? If the state, can't spell. If the state of the binary sensor.morning is on, then we want it to be called morning. And then we're going to want another one of them. And another one of them. And then we'll have an else if, or elif, it is afternoon, or the afternoon sensor is saying it's on, then it's going to be called afternoon. Another elif, the sensor says evening, then surprisingly enough, we'll call it evening. And last of all, we'll have an else, and that of course is going to say it's night. So that obviously eliminates the problem that I was talking about earlier, because it's checking the morning first, and then if it's not morning, then it's night, rather than checking the night and the morning together and then getting a bit confused. And then we can just end our end if, and that is that. So we can save that. We can restart Home Assistant. And then when it comes back, so Home Assistant has restarted, and we are going to just create a little tab so you can see what this has done. In here, we're going to have a glance card with a lot of sensors. Morning, afternoon, evening, night. You can see that the time is 20 past 8, and the evening is a sensor that is on because it is between 5 and 10 as we set it up. And then if we add another one, and we can see our sensor.time of day, and it says it's evening. Very simple. And we can use this in a number of ways. Obviously, it's very useful to know what time of day it is, but you can also use this to trigger things or do other things. So you've kind of got an all-in-one, one-stop shop for what time of day you want to call it. We can also just use this in a markdown card. And we can very easily go good states sensor.time of day user, and we can see good evening Will, because it is the evening and I'm the logged in user being Will. So very useful. So you can see how this sensor actually can be used for quite a lot. I'm actually in the process of developing a new dashboard making use of this sensor to change things like show and hide conditional cards. So you can end up with a dashboard that shifts itself automatically during the day based on your time of day. And that's obviously going to be through the sensor rather than just checking the time of day. Obviously, you could do this all in one template sensor, but it gets a bit complicated. And actually, you might want to have a bit of overlap. You might want to be able to see a binary sensor for each time of day. It might just be a little bit easier, just knowing whether something is on or off, rather than the state of something being a word. So that is how you make use of the time of day integration into Home Assistant. So there we go, the time of day integration in Home Assistant. Make sure you hit subscribe below and click that bell icon to find out more about My Smart Tech and how you can build yourself the ultimate smart home.